What's up, guys? Sorry, let me just take a sip. I just had way too much coffee today. But, I'm back. As always, welcome back to my channel. And today, I'm going to be talking about the 5 mistakes that noobs do in the gym. Is this something that is talked about before? Yeah. Does it matter? No, I'm still gonna do it because I want to. So yeah. Now, let's get right to it, shall we? So, the first thing that I see noobs doing in the gym is actually not considering the tempo of the work that they're doing and under prioritizing technique, like something I've never seen so much under prioritized. And shameless plug, I have videos for techniques on a few exercises already, and more is coming out, so stay tuned for that, or subscribe to my channel, I guess, to keep in tabs if you want to. Now that is an early call to action. Now, anyway, the juice, but it got me tripping. Ice. Have you guys seen people doing like triceps extensions and they just go fast, or they have learned that you should train in the center portion, so they do like relays. Like, this is worse than going slow up and fast down. Now, fast down doesn't have to be a bad thing. What good does it do to move around weight if you're not feeling your muscle work at all, and you're not like, you're just stopping because of, like, there should be tension in the muscle, if you know what I'm saying. You should, after doing a set of triceps, you should feel like, ooh yeah, I've worked my triceps. But I think a lot of noobs just don't do that or consider that at all. So that is like my first thing. That's like tempo, and they're like not even educating themselves on how to do the technique. And I must say, not everybody has the luxury to buy a personal trainer to teach them this stuff. But hey, you have YouTube, most likely watching me. But any other trainer as well, you can have everything that you need if you want to educate yourself. Now, this is something that I see almost every day when I'm at the gym, and I'm almost every day at the gym. Isn't that sad? People are out having fun and I'm in the gym. Now, usually noobs are young people, but if there are some older noobs, they usually don't do this thing. But 90% of noobs are young, and 90% of young people max out way too much. And I'm like, if I'm talking to like some random dude, because that's what I do, and they're telling me like, yeah, I'm trying to do 50 kilos on, for example, bench press, as we boys love to do. I'm like, oh yeah, nice. So it's like a PR for you. Yeah, I mean, last week I did 48.5 kilos, a max, 1 rep max. And I'm like, so you're every week maxing out and not doing anything else but 1 rep max? And they're like, yeah, basically. But like, how's that going for you? Well, I went from 30 to 50 kilos. They're like, in a year. And I'm like, fucker. No, but the thing that bothers me is doing 1 rep. Does that build muscle? Well, yeah, technically it does meet all the criteria for tension, at least, but it's way too little time under that big tension to really be optimal. So when we train hypertrophy, rarely do we gonna go sub 5 reps, because at least right now the golden zone is like from 5 to 30 reps, where you can vary the load and how many reps you do, and it really equates to the same thing. But once you go down to like 4, 3, 2, and especially 1 reps, the tension is there, but the amount of exposure is not. So they kind of haven't gained a lot of muscle. But here, they are noobs, so they will have gained some muscle. But I'm thinking like if they would have done, for example, 30 kilo bench for 5 reps and just tried to increase to do 30 kilos for 10 reps, and then did 40 kilos for 5, increase that to 40 kilos for 10 reps, they did 50 kilos for 5, and then did 50 kilos for 10 reps, and do it like that, I think that they would have done a way faster job of progressing if, they want to increase their bench. And what boy in this world doesn't want to increase their bench press? So, yeah, noobs max out way too much. Chill with that shit. I max sometimes as well, but that's after I've done a productive cycle, right? Not a cycle. That sounded really sus. But a cycle of training, a mesocycle. You can say even a block. But that's different because I'm trading, not gaining so much muscle that week, just to see the progress that I have made. And usually I see it way earlier than to have to max out, because I'm like, I remember my 1 rep max was 100 kilos, and through my bulk, I went from like 80 kilos for 5 reps up to like 100 kilos for 5 reps. So already there, I was doing my 1 rep max for 5 reps, and was like, it was normal work for me, right? So was the bulk successful? Yeah, right? So that's my rant about that. Now, another thing that I see noobs really neglecting, and the cool part is that even though noobs neglect all this, they still grow. So it's not like they're wasting it, but it's a mistake that they will have to learn to progress onward from the beginner stage to the intermediate stage, if you feel me. But that is actually, the point is, they sometimes don't respect range of motion, and they go just way too shallow, and especially on legs. Don't even get me started on like squats and leg presses. They go way too shallow. If you go deep, you go shallow, I guess. But the range of motion just isn't there. They're not recruiting every muscle fiber, right? And so those muscle fibers that are not active at the top, they won't get worked. And another thing is, you will have to put on so much weight to get a proper workout for like half repping squats. And by the way, this video is basically an advertisement to my channel, because again, I'm gonna tell you, I have a video on mobility and flexibility in the legs, especially if you're doing squats. If that is the reason for you half repping, or a reason for noobs to half rep is their mobility and flexibility, then I would strongly suggest that they watch my video. And there's a myriad of other things. When they get older, if they never, let's say they never learned to respect range of motion like in their lifetime, right? When they're about 40, 50 years old and they've been training for a long time, even they might be big, and they might be like pumping, you see bodybuilders like pumping the mid-range, they don't like extend all the way in the bench press, and they don't get all the way down, they just pump it in the middle because they can use so much weight. They injure themselves because the weight is so much higher than it's supposed to be. So the tendon just like says, you know what, sayonara, and then just snap off. Now, does that mean that it doesn't happen in a full range of motion? No, it can happen there as well. But let's say, even if you're an IFBB pro and you're repping like 50 kilo dumbbells, like all the way down, good reps, that is still an insane amount of load for your pec tendon, right? And then, let's say, you just go ego and you take 100 kilo dumbbell and just pump it in the middle, right? Especially if you do that without training a lot in those heavy weights, your tendons just say, you know what, I'm not getting paid enough to do this shit, so they just like snap the fuck off. So, for your injury sake as well, don't do half reps or, skip range of motion. You even get more like mentally tired as well to have to load up the bar as much if you're doing a squat or something, when you're like only going halfway down, and it's like you're standing there and you barely can't stand, and you have like 300 kilos on there, and you like move 1 millimeter and you're like, oh! It's just a nightmare, guys. So just reduce the weight and go down further. You will get way more hypertrophy. Yes, you won't look as badass, so I guess don't listen to me if you wanna have compliments from everyone around the gym. I see a lot of noobs, not prioritizing cardio as much when it comes to muscle building, because it seems trivial, right? But especially for people that easily can gain a lot of fat and weight, cardio is almost like a necessity to it, because it opens up so much room for you to eat more carbs, which are anabolic in and of itself. Yes, cardio is catabolic, so you can argue for it, canceling out. But let's say just do 20-30 minutes of cardio, easy cardio, like on the treadmill. Just point being, I think noobs can get a lot of actually doing both cardio and weight training, even though you're bulking, because skipping cardio altogether, not walking around, that's just horrible for your health, man. Don't get big to sacrifice your heart. I mean, it isn't the mindset nowadays, to guys, but it should be. So do cardio, man, for your health. It's the biggest mistake I see, and it's not even beginners. Like people like me even have done that mistakes, and I consider myself an intermediate. And then we smoothly segue into a saying that say too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. And in this instance, we are talking about volume. Now, if you have no idea what volume is, I'll have to watch this video now. But it's your sets times reps times weight, right? But nobody really calculates it. But usually, just how much work you do, basically. So the thing is, I have met people and they are small. I feel like such a savage, but hey, we all been there, right? And the thing is, I ask them like, what's their routine, and they say like, yeah, I'm doing like 10 sets of 10 on the bench and squat. I'm like, what? And like, yeah, how do you feel after that? Like, I'm annihilated, bro. I can't move my joints for a week. And I'm like, uh-huh. Are you getting stronger? Well, no. Are you like having some, maybe not tendinitis, but some form of like irritation, like in your tendons and stuff? But like, well, actually, when you mention it, right? And they just go way too much. And I admire the engagement, or the I love that you love this and you're like committed. And now a lot of these mistakes, I have been there. Actually, I did German volume training once, but I trained my chest only once a week, so it was like not optimal anyway. And that is like another top thing, I guess you can say, and that is actually having too low of a frequency to just train one body part per week, and they don't train it like twice or thrice. So that's, you get a 2-in-1 in this one, a bonus. But too much volume can be detrimental, because you can think of it like this: you want to stimulate in the gym, not annihilate. And it has to do with your body competing for resources. If you train a lot and you stimulate muscle growth, yeah, and you train more and you think that stimulates more, yeah, well, actually no. It comes a point where it's like, nah, F that. We're not going to grow more than this at a time unless we get more testosterone or something. And if you're young, I mean, this gap is pretty large. Now, and let's say you just say, yeah, but more is better, and you do like a million sets. No, okay, but you do way too much sets. The thing is, for every set, you're kind of ripping up your muscle, and this is the resources for what your body needs to do when it's rebuilding itself. It's the damage you cause. If you have way much more damage than stimulus, your body will almost always prioritize repairing the damage than to adapt, because it's more important to have a functioning body than to have a big one. All the protein and carbs, and you bring in the nutrients, say you're really good on that, the body will use it to repair, and this will just kind of be a bit forgotten. So you have to start slow and build your way up when it comes to volume. And even so, you need the deload to desensitize, to resensitize you to the volume, so that you can't do too much, because even advanced or intermediate lifters have a what we call maximum recoverable volume that we don't want to go above. So that is basically the list. This has been a lot of call to actions, but hey, if you like this sort of video, as I said, drop it a like. And I'm going out to do stuff. So I'll see you in other videos, and I wish you a phenomenal week. Yeah. Actually, and I wish you a wonderful sleep, because, you know, sleep is the hidden key to make you huge.